IT at S1, Ms. Janelle Brazil.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here. My name is Janelle Pearsall. Like Dave said, I am the Vice President of Information Technology for S1's Holding Corporation. A lot of my teammates are here today. They are mentors for the program, like she mentioned earlier. So I want to say thank you to Jamie. Adam did a speech here. There's a couple had to leave. They were here earlier that you met, Terry, Steve. They've all been here and helping out with the mentorship, which has been awesome. And I've heard from all the students that had them as mentors telling me that they took it as a very valuable experience to have a mentor from the IT world that actually spent time with them, shared with their background. And Deja and I, she told me there's 2 more cohorts, and I said, oh, don't you worry, we'll be right by your side. As soon as Deja brought the Coding Academy to S1's attention, we were so excited to become part of partnership with the Coding Academy. There has been, and I know I talked to a couple of different people in the room about hiring people in the local Sarasota community in the IT talent. The IT talent pool here in the past few years, prior to COVID, it could take me a year sometimes to find someone who was available and had that talent. So when Dave said that she was having the Coding Academy, getting people up to speed on how to code, I couldn't have been more excited, So as soon as she said, will you help us, and that's what she said, my entire team, so all 14 of us got on a call with her, we all were on that Zoom call and said, how can we help? So we are really happy to be a part of the program. I did have a joke that I thought I was going to tell, saying how on earth do I, being 29 years old and having 20 years of experience in IT. But then Jawara over here schooled me at 7? And Darian, you said you went right at 9, 7, right, in your talks upstairs. So I was like, well, this isn't funny anymore because you guys seriously started your careers that young. But I have been with S1 for 12 years, and prior to that, I was a consultant for Accenture for 8 years. So I do have 20 years experience within the industry. And it was really exciting to see people want to change their career. So we actually talked even prior to the Coding Academy started about what is the needs within the Sarasota local community. And we talked about the fact that there's a lot of people who probably want to change their career paths. It's not just people coming out of high school and starting and going through, a program. There's people who want to change their career paths, which is it's a daunting experience. I mean, we were talking upstairs about families. Ben, you were talking about your family with kids, and Mark, we were talking about your son. You're all professionals already. You all have lives already that are very busy. You have kids you have to take care of, you have your professional jobs, you have advertising, and you're in advertising and retail, you have supply chain, and they're completely different places in your career than IT. Ben and I talked, he's coming from tech support, so people are probably thinking, oh, IT, he already works in IT, shouldn't he just be able to turn over and code me something that I need? Because everyone thinks if you work with computers, you can code, which is beyond untrue. And some of the other people in the room can attest to that. They're very different things. So it's nice to see these people changing their careers. I want to thank the partners. So not just S1 has partnered in the community, so Bell's, Silence, At Large, Net Reputations, and AWS Strategic Initiatives have all also partnered with the program, which is it's awesome, right? Because we were talking earlier about the IT talent. If we all partner together and work with the Academy, then, we're going to continue to grow these pools and have this, our companies, fortunately, are going to continue to grow. It's not jinx anybody, but we're all going to continue to have the needs to hire new talent. And if we're creating that pool, it's awesome to do it together. So thank you for that. So to the students, you're changing your career paths like we talked about before. That is huge. And if there's one thing that you remember that I say today, I want you to remember to always, always, always be learning. Just remember those 3 words, because you should see how far you came, right? So 6 months ago, or more than 6 months ago, you decided that you wanted to do this Coding Academy. And then 6 months later, we're upstairs viewing some awesome web applications that you guys have been able to build from doing this program. You took that opportunity to learn, and you realized, if I spend the 6 months, look how far I can come, and look how far you come. I mean, that is huge. You've created the foundation, the fundamentals now. You know a new language, right? You're just talking about this. Like, once you know the fundamentals, You can apply yourself to all these new languages. When you go to get hired by a company, you don't have to know everything, right? So I'm gonna date myself, but back when I started, my first class ever was COBOL and Fortran, and I thought it was just the coolest thing. As soon as I programmed Hello World, I was like, yep, I'm gonna do this. That was the end, right? And so, but that was back then, that was COBOL and that was Fortran. And I learned that, and once I had those languages down, I went on to college, and they did C++. I learned C++, and then at the end of, right towards the end of my college career, they realized that C++ was starting not to be as popular, and maybe they should switch to Java. So now the whole curriculum was changing to a new language, but I already knew the fundamentals, so it didn't matter. It was just, you know, what does the syntax look like? What do you do to help yourself work through all of it? So it really, once you have that foundation, like you guys have all created for yourselves, or are in the middle of creating for yourselves, then you're ready to go and move on to new things. So it's really exciting what you're doing for yourselves to be able to move forward and continue on and work through all this stuff. Technology is always changing. Always, always, always changing. It changes so fast. So that's why I'm saying you can never stop learning. But it's not just technology, right? Because you guys are leaving, the 5 that we saw, right? You're moving on to actually try to find your spot now using that coding experience that you just got underneath your belt. There's a lot of learning curve in whatever industry you decide to go into. So you had retail experience, you know retail, you can apply that with your coding experience now to be part of that IT team. If you have any type of business experience, and you move that into wherever company you're moving into, you use that experience. It's learning the industry too. It's not just about coding. So there's just that. You just continuously want to keep learning, keep moving on, and always, always, always bettering your education in the IT world. We joke around a lot at our company about being IT administrators, Google administrators. So talking about the general public, we can all Google it, right? You don't know the answer, you can't remember how to do something, you don't remember what the syntax looks like, you don't remember if you need to be using this certain function or that, you can Google it. The only difference now between a non-IT person and you is you can actually read the articles that you pull up, right? You can use them, you can apply them, but most people, a lot of people in this world can't, right? But you can now, and so you've created that knowledge for yourself. But don't be afraid when you go on into your career and start working in your company. Continue to use Google, continue to use search engines, you said it really, really well, Johnny. Be comfortable being uncomfortable. You're gonna be uncomfortable for the rest of your career in your IT world because it's always, always, always changing. You always have to be learning. Find that comfort in being uncomfortable. Yesterday at lunch, one of my coworkers just happened to say, the longer I'm in my career, the more that I realize I don't know that much about IT. Which sounds funny, but he's literally one of our most senior software engineers, and he's amazing. I mean, I go to this guy for everything, and then come to find out that he himself feels like he doesn't know anything, and there's so much more to learn. So just always, always, always be learning. With that learning will come mistakes, and that's hands down gonna happen. So I'm gonna walk you through 2 real life mistakes that have happened and explain how some of this works out, because what you're gonna do with these mistakes is learn and grow and better yourself from what happens. So one mistake comes from someone who working for a company where all the orders are coming in through the website. And a customer calls in and says, I need to change my email address. Okay, sure, I can do that for you. So they go in and they create the SQL statement to change the email address. So let's